Welcome to Assessment 3 by Brian. The Kilo Library is a small community library. How can we improve this? Through 21st century literacy concepts. The three that I've chosen are oral language, literacy shaped through social and cultural practices, and literacy as a tool of empowerment. Oral language is a 21st century concept. According to Flint, we are naturally inclined to learn how to talk and communicate as soon as we are born, listening to everything around us as we learn to talk before we learn to read and write. So it would only make sense that improving our oral skills in literature is the cornerstone in enhancing our literacy skills. Cambourne developed a way to support children's literacy skills through the use of oral language. Being immersed and using the language, taking risks, experimenting with vocabulary and structure, and learning how to put it all together. Cambourne's 8 condition of literacy learning involves immersion, demonstration, engagement, expectations, responsibility, approximation, use, and response. This shows that libraries should implement more chances to improve children's oral language skills with discussions and other speaking activities so they can practice in a safe environment. Literacy is shaped through social and cultural practices. Is a huge factor in literacy. Literacy isn't just reading and writing in a classroom or a library setting. With the growth of technology, social participation has changed, giving everybody new ways to express themselves and form new social groups with their own styles of literature and communication within their group. Be they blogs, chat rooms, social media, the list goes on. Barton and Hamilton expressed this idea through their theory of literacy practices and how social structures are shaped by the culture group they are embedded. Literacy has a role in social practices because literacy practices are culture's way of utilizing general written and oral language. In simple terms, literacy practices are what individuals and social cultural groups make out of the language. So it is important for a library to have programs in place for children to learn how language and literacy affects the world and others around you, to be able to see and adapt to the changes, will help children grow as individuals. Literacy is a tool of empowerment. If we think about how literacy practices are institutionalized within the world, we can understand the importance of literacy events and consider how institutions aid particular literacy. Addressing critical literacy is necessary not only for critical navigation of society, it's also vital to refine oneself. Learning about language use and the context you read empowers you by providing insight and knowledge of today's society. This shows that having literacy skills gives us the tools to be self-sufficient instead of relying on others. And what better place to learn than the library? To implement some activities to help children improve their literacy skills, giving them the tools not just to survive in this modern literacy world, but to thrive in it. The activity I came up with is for 11-year-olds and is about seeing how literature looks different depending on the social and cultural practice being used, having them to be able to tell the difference and when to switch their form of literacy. The literacy text I will be using is Jolly Postman, a text about a postman delivering letters, fantasy individuals that we all know. We start the activity with a discussion about literacy and how it can change depending on the purpose and the recipient, just to get a feel of what the kids know already and to get everyone on the same page by bouncing ideas around so no one is left without understanding before moving on to reading the book. During the reading, we'll tell the kids to pay close attention to the letters in the book, making sure to pause at the letters so we can have a discussion about the differences between the letters and the language and the literacy being used, as well as the visuals of the letters. We will then move on to another discussion after the book is read to gather our thoughts. Once everyone is on the same page and understands the differences between the letters, we'll have the kids write their own letters to friends and family. They can be as creative as they like with their writing, as well as drawing with images if they prefer that. making sure to use the lessons we learned during the Jolly Postman. When everyone is finished with the letters, we'll put them into envelopes and address them up so they're ready to be sent. In this activity, we had a few connections to the Australian curriculum, from language interactions and text structures being used to understand language and using it and how it forms to fit into correct social and cultural context, from examining and responding to literature being used in the book and linking it to past experience, building on connections and deeper understandings, learning from others through interactions, examining the text itself and sharing ideas and thoughts with others, as well as creating one piece of our own, using the structures and forms learned through the language, literature and literacy content in the Australian curriculum. Thank you for listening.